All right, everybody. I think that we are live. My name is Wendy, and hold on, I had yet another update. So I'm going to try to get, I don't know. Let's see, video capture. Let's see if I can get my desktop to show. And we're just going to say desktop. So give me a minute, guys. I had all kinds of trouble on Tuesday, and so I think, there we go. Okay, let's see. There's that. Let's see. I think I'll do a little less. So, no, 1920. They must have done a whole update. So, very nice. It shows a lot of my mess. So you're going to see a ton of my mess. And we're just going to go with that. So let me take this guy and put it in the corner. And then you've got both cameras. And video check, audio check, Lebowski. I think we are in business. Anyway, welcome everybody. Tonight is late night, Friday night dinos. Of course, I have my dinosaur shirt on. Let's see. It says, if history repeats itself, I'm so getting a dinosaur. I know some of you guys have been around a while and have probably seen this already. So there you go. You'll probably see my much needy kitten tonight. Pogo is around. I got her own cup of water. So we'll see what happens with Crazy Cat. And let's kind of talk about what we're doing and what you're going to see tonight. Okay, so I'm pretty excited about this. Nerdy blonde woman, check. We got it. All right, we have some dinosaurs that we've been working on for Le Cirque, Dinosaur Circus. And I'm just going to set these to the side. We may need to reference these guys as along with other paintings I've done and other works. But first I'm going to tell you what we're up to. And it all has to do with Victorian borders and something called a certificate of authenticity. So my artist friends and I have been doing this for a while. On the backs of our original artwork, when we frame them, we will add what is called a certificate of authenticity. And it'll have information about us, like a little summary, the title, the size, the medium. I have my website on there. And then varnishing and or handling things that about the artwork that they may want to know for long-term care of a fine art piece. Mine is just one I've designed. It's got a very contemporary little circle that makes it almost look like an official logo, but it's not. And then I sign in the middle of it. And for a while, I have wanted to make my own fancy pants. We're going to call it fancy pants. I wanted to make my own fancy pants version. And that is going to be based around Victorian borders. So I ordered a number of books. These are my two favorites that I got. And it was like ornamental and Victorian ornamental design. And what they did way back when, and I'll kind of show you some of these, I'm marked, is they would create these gorgeous patterns and designs and then incorporate different things. So this has naked people in it. Some of them have, there's like a pig's head, there's a pheasant, which a classic Victorian element. There'll be cherubs, like there's a little cherub in this one. I'll kind of bring it up close to you. And what I want to do is a border, not an oval, but more of a rectangular border for my dinosaurs. And I want to do one for my Route 66 artwork. Those of you who are familiar with my art know I paint an extensive amount of, extensive? I don't think that's even is that even a word for that? I think I made that up. It is a word, but I didn't use it right. Anyway, I paint a lot of Route 66 scenes. The Centennial's coming up. I show it in a gallery. So a lot of Route 66, and I want to do one of these for Route 66. And then the other thing I paint a lot of is plein air landscape. And so I want one for my plein air landscape that will fit coast to coast, not just the Southwest. Maybe I'll do one just for Southwest. So in order to kind of like get a feel for it and get inspired, I ordered books that I found where people have gone and resourced and researched, and they ended up, I think these were meant to be clip arts, like copyable elements that you could use in clip art, but I'm using it as a reference so that I can build my own, because I'm going to change the scrolly patterns to flora of prehistoric times that fit late early Jurassic to late Cretaceous time periods, along with these critters and what they would have eaten or what would fit within that. So I've got a bit of research, and I've also started doing that. But today, let me kind of show you an idea. I did first a really initial rough sketch, and then I sourced what I thought would be good inspiration. And we're going to work a little bit on, I have to find them. Oh, they're very loose. Oh, it's very loose. It's like a teeny tiny little sketch. So right in here, and then you'll see I've even started playing with that idea. These were books that I researched that I ended up buying, used books, because they're old books. So we're going to start in the sketchbook and I might even reference back to my teeny tiny little version, but I had some ideas. We're going to play with it a little bit in the sketchbook and then transfer that over to a sheet so I can start building it out, because like everything else, it's the cast of characters that we're going to fit in to this border. The cast of character will most likely be broader than I like for a piece, meaning I will cover dinosaurs that can be in any time period, not just late Cretaceous or Jurassic. Like I think I'll be spanning a lot more. So I'll probably pull some of the dudes down from up there for reference. So you're going to see me like climbing a ladder and get back down. Annie C, I can see your comments. Everybody who tuned in on Tuesday, thanks for bearing with me. Normally I can see like an overview so I know where to put things on screen for you. And then I can, like fit it on screen. I had no visuals. I couldn't see anything. And I also couldn't see the chat. So anybody who wrote something in the chat on Tuesday, I had no idea what you were writing because I couldn't see it. But luckily, Lebowski was there. So Lebowski kind of kept track of everything and chatted with you guys and let you know it was craziness. I think there was something wrong in the update because I had updated right before. And then when I went to come on tonight, I was a little late getting on because there was another update. And so I think they realized they broke a few things when they updated. So I'm guessing my sources disappeared, my cameras disappeared. I had to reset tonight. I'm guessing some things were wonky, but it looks like it's all fixed, and I'm so excited to see you all here. And look at you. I even see there's little dinosaur icons on there. Oh, and I figured out where the little chat notification is. So I just turned that on. I can learn. Look at that, guys. I can totally learn. So let's start to lay a really rough one out. I pulled and I made copies. Oh, and if we have time, we may start sketching Dino Lisa. And Annie C, I know that you specifically had talked to me about thinking it needed to be a Brontosaurus because they're like these gentle giants. And I think you're onto something. I may try it. What we'll have to do with that is have, his head and really straight on, that looking, but his body is facing the same as hers, and it's going to be all neck. And then I think instead of arms, I'm going to replace it with the giant other cycads or kyads. It's like cycads, which they're like tall, chunky, they have fern-like things on top. They like to eat them, and I think that would replace this. And then from what I was reading, everything was real swampy back then. They had to eat every minute they were awake. They just grazed on everything, and they had pencil-like teeth, so they couldn't chew, or like dull pencils. I think they couldn't chew well, so in their gizzard, they almost had like a bird gizzard. It would grind it up. I think it were like giant rocks. I don't know. I gotta look more into that. Like, did they find them in the fossils? Did they have like the big things that ground food up? Did they find that inside of their fossils? I don't know. But I thought it was really, really cool. So why not look? Anyway, so there's that. But these are the ones that I pulled out that I thought we would reference. And I made them so that I could flip them on both sides. But you guys can kind of get the idea. I want more of a rectangular border that I'll put my certificate information inside. Now we're going to split it up, and we'll just start drawing in here, because I have some ideas, some thoughts and ideas. So one of the things I thought would be fun, and I haven't decided yet, part of me felt like he needed to be on this side, was to have those big branchy things. And these are very balanced, but not exact. So look, this is a different border on this side than this one. And let's see on this one, they're different. So this has a different shell shape and leaf than this one over here. So it does not have to match. But I wanted this cycad leafy fern thing. So they kind of come up. They're all big ferny leaves that come out. And then they've got almost, I think of it like a dry pineapple base. And I thought that would be really fun to have that dry pineapple base coming up out of everything. So there's our idea of what I'm thinking. Now these plants are still in existence today. They've survived. They think that their root system, they said the tops are very similar to what they were. And these plants lived, the cycads, I think it's spelled cycads, I believe, that they went from like all the time periods, like way back. So through Jurassic, early and late Cretaceous into modern day. So these guys they're survivors, man. But the Brontosaurus grazed on them. So I'm guessing even if they had small ones, like maybe there's some out here that come out. And we'll play with this a little bit. And then I want him eating. So I don't know if his head should be like way up high in here. So you see like the Brontosaurus peeking from up in here and then back, and maybe he blends in a little bit. So we come down and he's forward facing behind this giant tree. So I can kind of do that. Have him in here where he's eating, munching on this. And we're gonna just kind of put him in here. This is my first go round, guys. And as you know, I will move things and play with things and just try to make it work the best I can. So his body's gonna come in here. I'm guessing that, short, stubby little legs. I probably started too high on here, so in the next one, he needs to come down. I'm gonna have to look up his feet to see you know, like how far those go. And then his tail, depending on how low it goes and how far from the ground it hung compared to his big old feet, it might be fun to have that poking in and out of ferns and bushes. So if I've got fern-like plants throughout this, and then that's in there. So we'll have some of those. So it's kind of thinking along this line on one side of it. Want some sort of a brontosaurus coming up. Of course, that tree is completely bizarre. Should be in front of him. The joys of live. You get to see all my weirdness. It's okay. That's my plant, my tall tree coming up here that he's munching off of. He's just going to town right there. In the center of it, so at the top in the center, I really think we need a pterodactyl because why not? How awesome is that? So I don't know if his head should be hanging down looking in it, but I can, there's his little hands, kind of bring him in here. He either needs to look to the side like this or he looks down, and I feel like he'd be hysterical looking down, but I don't know. Maybe he's looking up and over like that, and that would give him, you know, I can bring those legs back then, hanging down in here. Depending on how big I make his wingspan and his body. So we've got that, and then I'm thinking that we need to have some kind of crazy puffy clouds designed into that. So really working on those squirrels like they did. So if I look at some of these where we've got little swirls like this, I think that is a really good place if I've got clouds to start to build some of that stuff in here. Super fun, right? So I think that the top has got to be a pterodactyl. And hopefully I didn't spell that completely wrong. Okay. I want it on the bottom, and maybe it's down in here. This will help us get scale. I really wanted, you know, like a triceratops munching on stuff. So over on the left-hand side, I definitely wanted ferns. So, all right, I'm just gonna write ferns. And then I wanted this guy in here. I'm not referencing anything, guys. I'm just kind of winging it. Oh, wait, they go forward. Duh. Yeah. So he's got his horns that come up like this. And then whatever he has up here. Then I think it was like a beak. It's like a beak-like nose. And he's going to be eating these. Oh, he's so cute. Doesn't he look happy? We'll make him look a little bit happy over here. And I wanted just to have him in all of the ferns. So you've got ferns popping up all around him. And he's going to be popping into those while he munches. So, a bunch of that going on. And then his little, you know, depending on what I end up doing with it, we'll see. So we've got this guy. In here. Munching happily. Happy little munches. So fun. We need definitely more leaves and plants and things like that. So if you guys get any ideas and I can make notes, that is really helpful. So we'll start making some notes on some stuff. And I'm only going to do a stream, I think till maybe 7:15. We'll do about an hour. And then I have to do a little more framing. So I'm going to do a little bit here and then bail out for some framing. So I definitely want a Triceratops. And I definitely want the Brontosaurus. Now he may need to be more towards the middle. Because I have to get a T-Rex in there. If I don't have a T-Rex in here, there is something wrong. And T-Rex is going to have to live up on the left side. So if I have Brontosaurus on one side, T-Rex is going to have to be on the other side doing his thing, whatever he does. And maybe he's roaring at the other guy. Could be. So let's throw a T-Rex in here. And then give him his little tiny, his T-Rex arms. It's like, Rawr. Poor T-Rex, man. Probably too high. I think I made his little arms too high. And I made him very cartoon-like, which is hysterical. You'd think I'd have drawn him enough that I wouldn't be able to do that, but yeah, he's a little cartoony. It's funny, right? So something with him over here. And then his little arms. I think I'll move them. They were just a little too, I don't know. And I'm kind of looking at all my drawings that are around me because I've got all kinds of T-Rexes around me. So that kind of helps a little bit. Adjust some of my, even though this is just an idea of what's going on. So he's in here and he's causing a ruckus, Mr. T-Rex. Over here on the left. Maybe his little arms are just hanging. He's turning because he was on his way. I got to do something really cool with his tail. So I got to think about that. Like where his tail is. Maybe it's up. Maybe it's... I don't know if he could do that. Because I got to think about how I integrate it into the background. And then his feet. So he would have these great big monster thighs. Then his little feet coming down and then bigger ones. And we could cover some with the ferns and maybe put some of his toes showing underneath. I don't know. He's not going to be this big compared to the Brontosaurus, so I've got to work on scale. T-Rex. Scale to Brontosaurus. So definitely, you know, whatever I end up doing, we're going to have to have some tall trees or rocks or something going up each side. So something for him to eat, something here, and then at least a triceratops in the bottom center, hidden in the ferns, like down here. Maybe he's down here hanging out by Brontosaurus. So like triceratops maybe way down here, right? So I think he could be down in there. And then let's see, what else do we have up on my shelf? I'm looking to see. I think little compies are raptors and then compies down below. So most of this, there may even be a gap. Like I could do a gap where this guy's above and I do a simulation of clouds, some kind of cloud pattern. And borders, and then come down into this ferny land, which will be really nice. Oh, a giant walnut. That is actually funny, Lebowski. And if you guys don't know, my favorite stupid movie is Land of the Lost with Will Ferrell. And he talks about how it is pretty funny that T-Rex has the brain the size of a walnut, and then T-Rex throws a walnut that is just massive outside their cave. And Will Ferrell like opens up the wrapped up walnut. It's wrapped in like banana leaves, and he opens it up, and they're like, "What is it?" And it's like, it's a walnut, only it's, you know, human size. It's just massive. Funny, funny, funny. Okay, let's see. What else do we have in here? I'm looking to see if there's anything we can kind of pull. And if anybody has done something with wind in any of these designs, or something that would feel like wind. Here's an example. I kind of pulled these apart to put them on one copy, but it's got pillars. This cherub is dropping an anchor, which is hysterical, or a chandelier. It must be a chandelier because this is the other side with the chandelier with a different cherub. Like, I'm fascinated with these, what they used them for, what they drew them on, where they went. It's fascinating to me. This one's great. It's got, I don't even know what this guy has. I think these guys are drinking over here, and it's just merrymaking with like a girl dancing, and these are probably bards or something. See how they've got, it's hard to see. There's a musical instrument. These guys have some kind of ale or beer. And they have little hidden things. Like, I think this was meant to be a bird's nest hidden inside this fern-like thing. Lions. They have fabulous ones with lions in them. And this one's crazy. Look at that. They have like a cannon. And I think maybe these are sails, but I don't know. Grapes, cornucopias of things, and weaponry. So funny. Just, I mean, it's just ornate as all get out. So I'm going for this kind of feel, only I want it to all be dinosaurs. So if you guys have any ideas that you want me to add into this, definitely write it in chat. Or if you can think of any plants that you think I ought to add, write it in chat. Now I'm going to get on my phone and I'm going to look up ferns. So we're going to do, let's see. Should I call them ferns from dinosaur age? Because I want to make a pattern with it. It does not have to look just like a fern, but I really want prehistoric plants. And I saw it at, I don't remember where I was, but it was fabulous. It was like an entire stone wall of ferns, fern fossils, plant fossils and stuff. It was just great. I absolutely loved it. Maybe I say fern fossils. North America? Specimens. Because I don't want it to think that like I want to buy a fern specimen fossil. Museum. University of Waterloo. Images. And let's see what we can find, because that's going to give us a really nice pattern to work with. Okay, here's one, guys. Look at this one. That's fantastic, right? So it kind of gives us a little bit of a pattern. Because once I get the feel for it, like I'm looking at things going, okay, this guy is, they're not centered across from each other. So little things like that when I'm building my patterns in the design. This guy, they're slightly off. So on this one, this comes up here and then comes down. Of course, it has a nice, now let me zoom in on this. Now what I don't know, but this is good because look, what I could do is draw the stem parts and then work around it. So these guys are every other one and then it just gets bigger. So the left and then the right and then the left, and they kind of come up. That tells me a lot of information. How they pattern, and then this one coming up, and then this one coming up, and I'm looking at things like, well, how far do they go out? You know, every time they come back in. So there's a lot of information like that. And if I zoom in on this, I can see that they had like little hairs on them. So I'm not sure what happened with this, but, and some of these turned down. So let's see what else we can find. That's a good start. And I'll just take a picture of that so I have it as reference. Okay, now let's go and see what else we've got. Oh, I like this one because it has, look at this. So, I don't know if you guys can see that. Do you see how it's broken up? Because that would have happened. They would have, like, rain or wind or whatever that is. But I like, this one's a little closer. I don't think they're exactly straight across. They're not. So they're closer, but they're not exactly straight across from each other. So they're more like this. If this is my fern part, and this were my top, which it's kind of weird how it's got 3 little pieces, then there's that, and then right below it, there's another one. And then there's that, and right below it, there's another one. And then within each of those, it goes narrow, and then a nodule, and then a nodule. And those are also not exactly across from each other. So that's good information. That tells me they're set up like that. But I can make a pattern once I get a feeling for each of those. So that's that. It's broken up. This one too. Look at this one. I love that. That's great. I'm stuck. There. I'm going to give you guys a better idea. See how they're broken up? These are ferns to get a better feel, because I think plants are so important in all of my pieces. So, prehistoric plants. Love this. Natural History Museum, prehistoric plants. There's this dinosaur tree, prehistoric dinosaur tree, bears fruit for the first time in couple's yard. Guys, did I lose you on the stream? It has 0 viewers. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna stop the stream. I'll try to start real quick and just let everybody know that the stream died, and we'll go from there. So I'm gonna end this one.
Oh, it's working.
Okay, never mind. I don't want to lose you all if it's actually working. So I heard that it is working. What I can do is lower the resolution, I think. So bear with me, guys. I'm going to try to drop this resolution a little bit. And okay, this may help. So I'm going in here and dropping the resolution just a little bit. Gotta bump this up. You won't see stuff as well. I don't like that. Maybe me. How about me? Let's take the resolution back up for this one. And, whoo, that's way too big. Sorry, guys. And then this one on me, I'll take the resolution down if I can and use buffering. There we go. Because you don't need to see me very well. I could also turn that off. That may help us as well. So sorry about that, guys. We're having, of course, don't I always have technical difficulties? I'm going to hack this thing one of these days. I know it. Okay, we were talking about trees. So if you guys are wondering what I'm doing, anybody who's just coming on board, a couple things. We are working on a certificate of authenticity, meaning like a formal, beautiful certificate for the back of my dinosaur paintings. And I want it to have a Victorian ornate border. And so I resourced and researched from Victorian ornamental designs. Really looked and found things that I'm not redrawing these. I'm just kind of looking at structurally how are they built. And so now we're going through and doing pieces. So I know I want, you know, a tall cycad on the right, a tree that's fern-like at the top, and they're chunky all the way down. And I want a brontosaurus, at least one brontosaurus eating from it. I might have another one in here, like maybe the buddy is over here, his mate is over here and reaching over and munching too. You know, like, who knows? We'll figure something out in here. That would be kind of fun to have two of them munching in the tall trees. I don't know. Of course, then where does the body go? I don't want it disappearing. I want a T-Rex kind of yelling across the way. Only I think he's too big here. He's going to have to be about half that size. And then I want a Triceratops down below, pterodactyl in the top middle, and I'm trying to come up with a design for all of the ferns. So I'm really looking at plants and ferns and what grew during dinosaur times. So that's kind of where we are. So I was going through and looking at plants. And I think I was trying to look at the pattern of ferns because I did not know if they grew directly across from each other or if, you know, like you have the stalk up the middle and it looks like they vary. Some of them have more distance than others. Like this one, they came out and then they varied even within this little part of the fern. So this had like mini ferns on ferns. I don't think they all grew like that, but there are definitely variations. Now look at this one. This one is, it's a hair off, not much. They're almost exactly across from each other where the little fern stems were. So it looks like I could get away with some variation. I also like that this stalk was thicker. So some of them may have like a thicker stalk. And then I want to see how the very tip of it, I don't have the whole tip of it. Looks like it was a little chunkier at the end. And I also want to see the shape. Like if they narrow out this way and they come like this and then it fills in from all of these. At what point does it narrow back again? So let's try to find the base of something, because I'd like to know that on a fern in general. And these are all pieces of ferns. Not very happy or helpful. Oh, I love this. This person found, you can't even tell what it is. Yeah, you. Look at the size of this guy. Wow, how fun is that? And look, it's kind of like this one where it's got lots of little parts in between the bigger parts. And then that even goes on another one. So there's, this fern goes on a bigger fern stalk, which I think is fantastic to know too, because that'll help me start to build these patterns. But right now, seed fern fossil. This may give me a better idea. No, it's not the whole thing. That doesn't give me the whole thing either. I'm looking for structurally, because I'm going to have to build, you know, like if that's the base, almost like a feather, and I would erase this afterwards, but So I would have this in the middle, and then these little guys throughout. And I know this is probably incredibly boring, guys, but kind of gives you an idea so you can start to build things. If you understand it, then you can build it better. So my brain needs to understand structurally what's happening so that I can do a better job drawing it. There are other things you can do too. Like I could go to the plant nurseries and draw, or the botanic gardens and draw, or take photos in either of those locations. And I always like drawing stuff really helps me more than photography. I learn it a little bit better. So my chat notification, you were right, it is off. But that disables, I don't know. Nope. It says it's on. So I don't know. Chat settings. Let's see. I don't know. Lebowski? According to this, it should be playing, but it's not. It's not. Hi, My Chemical Something. Guys, if I missed your chat, I am sorry. So now it's acting super weird. Let's see if I can get you back. Oof. Now I can't see anything. That's what I get for... There, I hit refresh. Oh, there you go. Nope. I lost all my chats, guys. So now I can't see anything again. I'm the worst. So, My Chemical Something, thanks for joining us. Unfortunately, I hit something and now I can't see your chat. It's connecting. It's thinking. Nope. Maybe if I write in here. Oh, there we go. Hey, Go West, you're there. Okay, so I got one and I got a little note. So something happened that was awesome. Oh, a Victorian dinosaur. Okay, so there is no such thing. I made up Victorian dinosaur. I totally made it up, which is hysterical. So they had, years and years ago, Victorian ornamental design and classic ornaments. And so what I wanted to do was take a little bit of this history where they made these ornamental borders, and I am making my own like Victorian ornamental border, only I'm adding dinosaurs. So instead of seeing little cherubs and stuff, you're gonna see dinosaurs in mine. And so I need to come up with some kind of a fun pattern with the foliage, and I've been digging while I'm chatting with everybody to find how the ferns grow. That sounds like a movie, right? Like where the ferns grow. And also wind. I wanted to do some of this stuff to make it really wind-like. I thought it would be beautiful to have underneath the pterodactyl wings, depending on how I draw this, it could be really beautiful. So it's going to have that Victorian feel to the whole thing, but it's going to have dinosaurs in it. And Humming Wolf, hi, I saw you came on. Yeah, I'm just kind of sketching. We went from, let's see, where is it? I went from this little teeny tiny version, this. There's my pterodactyl, so you got some ferns and a dinosaur. And it's all over the place because I never size things right. And for those of you watching, don't ever feel like you have to have a perfect, beautiful sketchbook. My sketchbooks are hot messes. They're playgrounds, they're places for me to work things out and take notes. So I'll write in them. And then I'll take it to another level and draw it outside. But tonight I just kind of wanted to play with getting my head around how I want to structure this, so then I can start drawing each of these elements and planning the elements out. So like right now I'm going, okay, well, I'm going to need to have some sort of wind filigree design, and I'm looking at over here how they did this stuff and going, okay, well, I think I can do something like that maybe this is like a really delicate swirl that comes in here. You happy to have books to fill every day? You know what, there is so much pressure though. You go online and you'll go onto Instagram and these people have these sketchbooks that I'm going, oh my goodness, like it's just amazing and so fun to look at, but I just can't, like my sketchbook is a planning place. I can't do it. I'm gonna mess it up. No matter what, there's gonna be a lot of ugly stuff in my sketchbook, and I'm okay with that. Sketchbook envy, definitely. It is a real thing. Vines? Okay, so that's a good question. What kind of plant-like things would have had vines? I think vines are a great idea because it's going to be... And water. Do we need some water back in the back? It was supposed to be swampy, you know, so do I need to have something swampy somewhere? I don't know. I don't think swamps really fit this for what I'm doing. I don't have to put everything in it. But, you know, I can search for, like, see, what would we call it? Jurassic vines? What if we did that? How, you know, when I was growing up, I'm kind of old, show my age, we had to look everything up at the library or in encyclopedias. I can't even imagine what school would have been like had we had these Google machines where you just type something in and get an answer immediately. Oh, look at this guy. This one's called Jurassic World Rebirth Party Decorations Dinosaur. But it'll give us an idea. Look at these mossy stuff and the big trees in there. Oh, I like that. I guess I could fake things, right? Because it had to have been really like overgrowth. I don't think it would have been sparse. Grasses are a good one too. And I know that they have a lot of fantastic grass in these Victorian designs. Where did I see that? I saw something that had grass. I did. Here. So look how they did this. They kind of have all this wild stuff popping up. Now this has some cattails, but there's all kinds of different foliage. So it doesn't have to be any one certain thing. It can be a little bit all over the place. But I like the idea of these tall grasses coming into things. Now, these are Jurassic grasses because they're as big as my T-Rex, but I'm just putting it in the sketchbook so that I remember what I was thinking during Crazy Town Windy Brain. Vines are vines. If you can imagine it, it probably existed. I know, but did it have like a giant Venus flytrap on the end trying to eat things? Because everything wanted to eat you, right? And you heard the dingy thing? I know. I don't know how I got it to work. I don't know what I'm doing, guys, on here. Like, sometimes signals will work and then they won't work. And I'm just the worst. So there you go. So vines, we'll just put some vines in here. And we can build stuff around vines. I think vines should really go around big trees or big tree trunks. Like if I had some big dark trees in here and had some vines on them and lots of little leaves and things coming off of that. So then I can do like dark in here. And then bring some vines in. Just do some wraparounds like that. That's kind of fun. Something along that line. But then it's going to need lots of twirly things and plants and ferns coming out. Things that might have gotten eaten. Okay, so I think I'm going to have to break down and just start placing them on a sheet and then going from there. I did tell you all, I know a lot of people came on later, and I have some serious framing to do tonight. So I'm going to have to jump off because I've got a frame. But any other ideas? You guys are fabulous with different ideas. Lebowski, you have a way of taking the ideas and then just making it a vine is a vine is a vine. Really? So, I know. My little Triceratops, my chemical something, he's so cute. He's just like in there. He's all happy. I see his little cheeks. Got a little smile on him right there. He's munching. He's munching on some things. Give him some little stuff to munch on. His little forehead thing right there. Okay, so with that note, I'm going to go. Do I seal my previous? No, I don't. I probably should spray them because they get so dirty. Like I've got, let's see, we've got different things. So you guys, this will give you an idea. Like this is just, I never sealed it. I just kind of left it as is. But I had so many different mediums in these. I've got a whole set of these. They're not sealed. They're just in here. And this is for those of you wondering what kind of sketchbook this is an inexpensive Royal Talons Art Creations. Here, I'll go to the back. Art Creation sketchbook. But I use all kinds of different media in here. So, like, here's some little studies with marker. And then I'll do, like, here's gouache. And color charts. And colored pencil. And this is gouache. And this one is Neocolor 2, which is water-based. But, like, so I'll paint in them. Drawings. So, I mean, it just really depends on what I want to do, because it's a workbook. It's a thought, like, place for me to explore mediums and ideas. I'll have exercises in this thing. So I do all kinds of stuff in my sketchbooks. And then, what else do I have? Yeah, just, I mean, they're just all craziness, but then it's a record. So I definitely don't have any beautiful, like purely, actually I do have a watercolor sketchbook that's a really pretty one, but it was more of finished paintings and I intended to do that throughout. So anyway, I love all the little dinosaur icons. Yeah, Lebowski, you're doing the dance party because I'm going to wrap it up. I have to go frame everybody. So, Humming Wolf, I hope that you got your entries in. I did not enter, if you know what I'm talking about. I just decided I'm not doing it. I didn't want to deal with it. But I am framing for the gallery tonight, so I've got to get that done. Outside of that, thank you guys so much for coming in and chatting and joining the conversation. I hope you have a creative weekend, whatever you do, and we'll be back again next week. Not sure what I'm doing on either show. I think we're going to move on to Dino Lisa for Mona Lisa with the Brontosaurus next weekend. I'll keep working on this. This is like a side project, but I've trying to get all this stuff done. I'm going on a big trip and I want a lot of projects to draw on the plane. And I may talk a little bit about making your own custom sketchbooks on Tuesday because I have 3 of them in progress right now. They're all chopped in pieces and I have to bind them. So I'm pretty excited about that. So maybe we can talk about that on Tuesday. So talk to you later. Thank you guys and